with theastrologyaddiction.com, and thank you so much for watching. Today I'm going to do a relationship reading for Nipsey Hussle, who has recently passed away at the age of 33, and I'm going to do the relationship reading with him and Lauren London. Now, I'm not a super huge fan of either of these two individuals, but I know that they have been in the press obviously recently due to his murder. He was shot in front of his store. I do know that much. I don't really know anything else as far as details about the incident, or really much more than the average person might know about these two people. So I'm going to just do this reading like I would do my standard relationship readings. It's a mini version, if you will, but I'm going to start with Nipsey's chart, then I'm going to do a little reading on Lauren's, and then I'm going to put the charts together and look at the synastry between the two individuals as a couple, and tell you, how they interact, how they might relate to one another, or why they might be attracted to one another. So make sure and subscribe and like this video, and find my link below to book astrology readings with me if you would like to do so. And now, Nipsey was born on August 15th of 1985 in Los Angeles, California, so he is a Leo, and he was a Leo, rest in peace. And he has his sun there in Leo. He has his Mercury, Moon, and Mars all in Leo as well. And his Mars, Moon, and Mercury are conjunct, so they are right next to each other. And then the sun is actually at 22 degrees. So they're not exactly, all four planets are not conjunct, but those three, Mars, Moon, and Mercury, are conjunct. He has his Venus in Cancer, and his Jupiter is in Aquarius. So, right away when I'm looking at this person's chart, I don't know the birth time for him, but you can tell that he was a very creative and, brilliant person. Someone with just that much Leo is brought here to just bring that, creative energy into the world and into his work and his love life. Everything about him, you're going to see, a fun, playful, probably, comedic, loyal person. Leo is very loyal. They're very giving. They're very proud, noble. And that's, I think, why a lot of people, you've been seeing people say a lot of really amazing words about this person, and they've said how great of a man he was, how reliable, responsible, loyal to his community, and just what an upstanding human he was. So there are darker sides to Leo, but it looks like for his life he's really been able to shine through and be that bright lioness Leo that we all love and even aspire to be like, especially in the limelight. In Hollywood, I see a lot of creatives with very strong Leo placements, especially in Hollywood, or actors, actresses, artists. Definitely they will have Leo in their chart. Now, he also has the Cancer Venus, and this is a very sweet aspect. He's very empathetic, very giving, caring, family-oriented. Community is important to him, protecting his loved ones, his family above all, I'm sure, is very important to him, and he's very loyal to the people of his family and takes care of them, protects them. Probably is a very fierce father. Now, I do see also his Jupiter is opposite to all of these Leo planets. They're the Mars, Moon, Mercury, and his Sun. So for me, I'm thinking that the Jupiter opposition is going to even enhance that royal Leo power even more in his chart, and make him, especially with his emotions there being in Leo, he can probably have a really strong emotional, powers that might come out, or that he might have expressed through different things in his life, but his emotions are very close to who he is. He understands probably his emotions quite well. He may have anger, outbursts with the Mars there in Leo, and that Jupiter opposition, it can just intensify the feelings and the actions based on the feelings. Also, with that Jupiter opposition, it even more enhances his sense of duty to community and to the public and to justice. Jupiter is a planet of justice and of things that are fairness. So I think that that's just been something that he's dealt with in his life, as far as community outreach and creating jobs for people that are in his community, and even just upholding such a high, moral standards and being such an upstanding human based on what people have been saying about him. So I also see that Uranus is in conjunct his Venus and it's retrograde. His Jupiter, his Uranus, Neptune, and Mercury are all retrograde. When I see that coming from his Venus to Uranus, it can show that maybe he has some unsettling feelings around, his duty to maybe his family or to the people that he loves. Like he might have a need to be free and independent and go after what he really, holds important in life. And that might be, breaking boundaries and fighting against injustice and things like that. But he does feel that strong connection and that tie to his family and to his home. That would be, something he might deal with internally. So now I'm going to look at Lauren's chart. Now she was born December 5th, 1984. So she was born about 8 months prior to Nipsey. She is a Sagittarius sun with a Taurus moon, and her birth time is unknown. So the thing about her that I noticed right away is that her sun and Uranus are at 13 degrees of Sagittarius, so they are exactly conjunct. Now her Mercury is conjunct as well to Neptune, which is at 0 degrees of Capricorn. So these are very powerful energies. When you have a personal planet conjunct a outer planet like that, it just really is very strong and powerful. And being that it's in Sagittarius, she could be a person, and if you do know anything about her, she's an actress and she's a model, and she is very, outspoken, but also at the same time private. So with Sagittarius people, a lot of times they will openly, be not afraid to communicate and speak their mind and say what they believe, but at the same time they can kind of be more private in some regards. And that does show in her chart in the Capricorn area. Capricorns, again, are very, very, strong and powerful people, and they value order and justice, and they value things going by the rules, following the rules. And so it seems like she maybe, the reason that she doesn't want to be so out in public and on the social scene and things like that is just because it doesn't really fit her character very much. She has these outgoing sides to her personality, but even the Taurus moon would make her much more of a homebody than you would regularly find. But then also that her sun is conjunct to Uranus, I see that she's very attracted and was, even brought forth here to be an innovator and to be somebody who's attracted to unique people who are revolutionary and that are here to make big change. And so maybe she's not particularly on the scene doing all of those things right now because she's being a mother, but that is a big part of her, life force here, is to cause disruption and cause some change and to make people really think. So I think even the speech she gave at his funeral was very powerful, and it wasn't someone who is just grieving and sad. It was more of a celebration of his life and the movement that he had created, and that she wants to keep that revolution kind of going. And being that her Mercury is with Neptune, I could see that just causing her to be very mentally creative, and could maybe even, because your Mercury is our communication, so how we speak and how we think is very, she could be, very more spiritual, and she could even speak in a way that can hypnotize people. And Hollywood is a great place for people that have strong Neptune places, because they can kind of not lie, but acting, acting is a form of, playing that is not being who you are, so putting on a facade that is not real or not you. So I think that that's been how she's probably expressed that, is by acting and being an actress. She's been able to play that fantasy life that she's really, is a big part of who she is. Now her Venus and Jupiter are in Capricorn. Like I said, she values order, structure, money. She probably has not had much of a difficult time in life acquiring those type of things. And then also her moon in Taurus is very sweet and, it's different from the rest of her, very much so, and I could see it even being very challenging. It's in conjunction to her sun and Uranus in Sagittarius, so it does not go well with the rest of her. Her moon wants to be comfortable, wants to be at home, wants to be cooking, and you know, being curled up in a cozy blanket, maybe shopping, and it's just very different from the other sides of her that I mentioned previously. Now her Mars is in Aquarius, and I think this can attest to her, you know, attraction to more unique and weird men. I think, you know, she dated Lil Wayne and has a baby with him, and now Nipsey Hussle. They're not the standard, I don't think, you know, men that you would see like on GQ or like, you know, because she's very beautiful. You think she would want to, not that, it's just something that you would notice. Like some women are more physically look for that in the men, like how they physically look, but she's more of a mental, you know, person that really values somebody's mental energy, and Aquarius is all about air communication, so she has to have that mental connection with the person that she's with. So when I look at their synastry, basically I'm going to put their charts together. Unfortunately, I don't have a birth time for either of them, so it's a little bit difficult to put the charts on top of each other, but I will do my best just by referencing them. Now I see that the interesting thing is she was, you know, born a few months earlier than him, 8 months, but her Uranus was at 13 degrees, and then it actually retrograded back to 13 degrees when Nipsey was born. The same thing with Neptune. Her Neptune was at 0, his moved up a little bit, and then it retrograded back to 1. And Pluto is at 2 in his chart, Pluto's at 3 in her chart. So they have a lot of those outer planets in common, which obviously you see that generationally. Now she does have her Jupiter in Capricorn, and his has moved on now to Aquarius. His Jupiter is conjunct her Mars, which is it's a nice aspect. It's very hot. Basically her Mars is with his Jupiter, and it's opposite to all of his Leo planets, which is very attractive. It's a very ego, you know, there's ego wars there potentially. They can maybe fight and have conflicts come up just because the sexual attraction is so magnetic, but it's also they're well-matched opponents, if you will, as far as a fight goes, if a fight might come up. But it's just also very attractive. She's mainly just attracted to everything that he is. It's very different than her. She doesn't really have any, I mean, she doesn't have any planets in Leo or in Cancer, so she's 100% attracted to him because he's a lot of things that she's not. And then he as well he understands, it looks like, the things that she is quite well, but he is not personally, you know, as, you know, he doesn't really have his north nodes in Taurus, which you do see a lot with synastry and with couples. The north node contacts to people's personal planets, but I see him being more very creative, family oriented, powerful, you know, has a lot of ideas and wants to make them happen. And she might be more, you know, visionary and creative and kind of have a really great fantasy life that she could help him and be a great companion for something that he might want to achieve. And you know, their moons, again, her moon is in Taurus and his moon is in Leo. The moon signs are actually square to one another. Hers is at 13, his is at 14. So her moon pretty much squares all of his Leo planets, which is challenging. She might not feel like he, you know, emotionally really understands like the earth-based things that she needs. Like she might really like to go out to eat and go outside in nature and do some, you know, activities like that that might really make her feel good. He might not understand that as much. He might, you know, think that going outside and hiking or something like that she might like to do is a little bit, you know, not something he's very interested in. So I could just see that being something that might have caused fights. And I know that she was very private in their relationship, but I think they had broken up after like their first child for quite a while, and then they got back together. But she has a great love for him, and I do see that. I think she really respects him. You know, her Venus in Capricorn, it just shows a real love for strong, powerful men who, you know, have something, especially with her Mercury and Neptune. She is very spiritual and has a great vision for things, and I think that being with a man who goes after what he really wants and makes things happen in the real world is something that she might value in a partner. Now, I do see that her Sun and Uranus, which are at 13 degrees Sagittarius, are trine to all of his Leo planets, his Moon, Mercury, and Mars. So that's a great connection there. I think right away, all of his, you know, his Moon and his emotions and his thoughts, she can really understand, and she does value that uniqueness with the Uranus conjunct her Sun. She likes kind of freaky, weird people. She likes to push boundaries and go outside of the box, and so she probably really values, you know, that Leo portion of him, which even further likes to, you know, they're very fixed. Again, Leo's a fixed sign, so they know what they want, but they know what they want, and they make it happen. Again, very creative and very passionate, I can see. So they definitely go well together in that regard. Now that is pretty much all that I have to say about their synastry at this time. I wish I had their birth time, so if any of you do know what time they were born, please comment in the comments here. And rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. I know that he's an amazing man, or was an amazing man, and everyone has great things to say about him, so all respect and best wishes for his family. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you're interested in booking a reading, the link's in the bio.
Pop, pop, all the way.